So today we're going to see a live exploit of one of these sample vulnerable applications. So let me first discuss about this architecture and we'll jump into the demo of workload security followed by application security. So as you can see on the top right hand side, this particular environment is built on AWS. So on the top right side, as you can see, there is a region AWS Mumbai. That's where I have the EC2 instances. This is where a vulnerable Dockerized container is installed, which is running the vulnerable Java Spring Boot application, which has a log4j library installed in it, which is actually going to do the logging. And this particular version 2.14.1 is vulnerable. As you can see, it's a Dockerized container. And then we have an associated database. So in this demo, the database doesn't play any role, but in your enterprise, typically you will have a front end as well as a back end. So that for the purpose of showing you what an enterprise application looks like, I have put it here. And this particular container is running on underlying Ubuntu operating system 18.04. This is the private IP address. And we have a malicious LDAP server. So this is the attacker's command and control center, which is running a malicious LDAP server, again with Ubuntu 18.04 operating system with the private IP of this. And from this, we are going to launch that attack. So on the left-hand side, as you can see, this could be any script kiddie or a nation state sponsored actors, maybe from North Korea or China, which they are actively exploiting this vulnerability and trying to target enterprises who are vulnerable to this. So let me explain how exactly this works. So any attacker would send a well-crafted request to the web server, which is vulnerable, and they will inject a payload which looks something like this within the curly braces, which has the IP address of the malicious LDAP server, which is the control command center. And once that is done, this particular server, which has the log4j library or a package, is going to log that. And the funny part about this is that by nature, it's going to execute that particular parameter and then would reach out to the LDAP server for further instructions. So this is where LDAP server responds with a Java class file and it downloads that file, and that's when we have the remote code execution achieved, right? Now, to help with that, while we will see this, how exactly this works, first we will see how workload security does that in detect mode, and this is where you will be able to see the events. It does not stop it, and then followed by that, we will see protection, how the IPS rules, which Weber spoke about, help you, reset that connection so that it doesn't even reach your application on the network layer itself. It gets blocked on the interface card itself. It gets blocked or dropped. So these are some of the products which are going to actually help, in detecting, responding, and protecting from exploiting this vulnerability. So at the top, you can see your image scanning, container security. So we have, detections available in the container security as well. So the containerized image could be scanned by container security, which will show you that this vulnerability exists. So with the help of admission controller, you can, stop deploying that vulnerable image so that it doesn't run in your production environment. And then we've got next open source security by Snyk, which is going to scan your source code for these vulnerable libraries. And cloud application security is a runtime protection where the library from Trend Micro is baked into your code, which is going to protect and detect this particular attack, which we will see sometime now. And workload security, of course, we were going to see the virtual patching rules, how they help with blocking this particular attack, right? So let's quickly move to our demo setup. So let me first tell you that this is the setup which is created in AWS region. So we've got two servers. So this is the vulnerable application, and this is the malicious LDAP server, right? Now let's look at the workload security demo first. Let's go to workload security, and this is where you will see we have applied those rules, virtual patching rules. So I'll go to those particular machine. And this is where our agent is installed. This is the vulnerable server. And if you go to intrusion prevention system, you can see that we have applied this particular engine in the detect only mode right now. You can see which rules are applied to this. And at the bottom, you will see Apache Log4j remote code execution vulnerability. This rule is applied as well as OGNL. So we'll see how this exactly works. So right now it's in detect mode. So let's go to the command prompt. So this is my vulnerable application. Let's see if this is actually that. So as you can see, this has the IP address of 46.232, which we saw in the diagram. And let's look at if we have that particular container running or not. So this is the vulnerable application, containerized application, which is running in the environment. Let's try and exploit this. Let's see if it goes through. So this is my LDAP server. This is the control and command connection. So this is from where the second layer of payload is getting downloaded, and that's where RC gets completed. So let's look at that. So when I hit this command, it starts listening. So this particular server starts listening on 1389 and 8888 ports. And if I again try to, so in this command, what I'm trying to do is, this is the exploit I'm running. So here what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to send this particular command to the remote server, which is vulnerable with the IP of 46.233, which is on port 8080. And what it does is that it also sends a payload, which looks like this. And this, with the help of JNDI lookup, the log4 shell, the logging library, is going to execute this and reach out to this particular LDAP server, which is malicious, and download additional payloads to complete that RCE. So since workload security right now is set in detect mode, we should be able to see hello world output, which means that our exploit goes through. So this is it. So the exploit goes through. Let's look at the events in workload security. What do they look like? So if I go to the intrusion prevention system, which is this is where we have applied the rules, and go to the events, we will be able to see those events getting generated. So I have done some testing in the past, so you can see those events are already showing up here. And if I click on get events, it takes a bit of seconds to show the recent events. So we should be able to see that. If it doesn't, I will show you the older ones. Yeah, as you can see, the OGNL rule triggered. So it's going to detect what exploit was running. And as you can see here, this particular destination IP address was used. What was the source IP of the attack? And we should be able to see one more detection event, which was for the log4j. So I can show you this one. So this is where you can see that this particular rule got triggered, and this rule is actually giving you all the information where this application is running, what is its name, what is the container ID, what is the image name, what was the destination IP, the source IP, and what rule detected this, and what was the action taken, which was reset. So we're going to see this. This rule will again trigger when we set this in the detection protection mode. So let's put it in the protection mode. So we saw the detection. Now our execute, when we run this again, exploit, it should not go through. It will be blocked. So let's see if that happens. Now let me push this particular policy. It gets automatically pushed, but for the sake of demo, we will try to push it quickly. Now again, if I run this exploit, this should be blocked. So see, you get the message that a failure message is received, connection reset by the peer. So what's happening here is that those particular rules, log4j rule, has blocked this connection at the interface layer itself. Now we'll be able to see that particular event and see the payload as well, right, which was sent. Here it is. So this particular rule triggered and it reset the connection. Again, those details are showing you source IP, destination IP, where this particular application was running, what was the target, the container name, all those things. And you can also see the payload as well. So this is what we sent. So this particular payload was sent in the HTTP request from the malicious attacker to the web application, which was vulnerable. So that's been captured here, and you're protected from this particular exploit from happening, right, with the help of Trend Micro's intrusion prevention or virtual patching rules. So next, we're going to see application security. So for that, I'm going to put, I'm going to actually maybe disable, or I can set it in the detect mode itself. Now let's look at the application security. Let me push this rule once again so that it applies. Yeah, so once this is done, we will again look at first detection in the application security. So application security, like we earlier mentioned, that this is a RASP engine, and it runs a Trend Micro agent. We call the Trend Micro library inside your code. We support Java, PHP, Ruby, Python, and so many different languages. So you just need to add a few lines of code in your environment. So this is where it's really effective during the runtime when the application is running. If there are any attacks which happen, it's going to protect your application from such attacks. Right? Now, let me actually first go to the policy here and show you how it actually detects. So like we saw earlier, so this is the rule which is actually going to protect and detect this particular attack. Now, if I go to the command prompt again, from here, if I run the exploit, this should go through and we will be able to see the events. as you can see, at 11:33, this particular event went through. Application security detected it. It did not block it because right now it is set in report mode, and it gives you the severity of this particular attack because it's been given a CD of 10, perfect 10, and also give you other additional details like the request details, what protocol it used, what was the port it was running on, what was the server IP which was exploited, the source IP from where the attack initiated, the MITRE ATT&CK information, the CWE information, and the actual payload which was run. Right. So this was the prevention. So it gives you that those details, and it gives you a graphical view of when any attack happens, so you can actually export this, and share this link with your management as well. So let's put this particular in the mitigate mode and see if it's going to block that or not. So we're going to again exploit it and then see if application security during the runtime is going to stop this particular attack or not. So as you can see, it did the job, and we have detected an unusual activity for your attempt with this service, and the request has been blocked. So this time we should be able to see again event getting generated, but this event at this time would be a medium severity because this was blocked. And then same details you'll be able to see from what IP, the MITRE ATT&CK information, what payload was running, things like that. Yep. Thank you.